Many information graphics and visualization designers have a background in visual arts and graphic design. This has been very beneficial to the field, but it has also led to some misunderstandings. In this lesson, I am going to address the most important of those misunderstandings, which is the confusion between information graphics and traditional art. Having a background in journalism, I have experienced the consequences of this confusion many times in newsrooms. Too many reporters and too many editors think that visualization and graphics are just gimmicks to attract readers, things that you use to make pages look more beautiful. And when they see graphics like the one that you have on the screen right now, those colleagues think that what makes this graphic great is the quality of the illustration. And it is true that my former student Alicia Porlapiano from the University of North Carolina did a great job. The 3D model of the blue whale is pretty well rendered, it's really beautiful. But what really makes this graphic a real information graphic is not how well the drawing is made, but the amount of useful, interesting, and relevant information it offers. Thinking that information graphics are just a means to bring more eyeballs to your content has led to what I call the eye candy problem. To understand what I mean, just go to Google and search for best infographics now. What you will most likely find is pieces such as this one. I made this one up, of course, but it is not that different to what some designers out there are producing nowadays. Many of them work for marketing and PR companies that have adopted infographic as the most recent trendy buzzword. And the problem is that at least some of them seem more worried about bells and whistles and special effects than about substance. See how shallow this graphic is. It wastes a lot of space just, to give you just a very trivial message, something that you could say with a line of text, that the profits of that company soared in 2011. But it doesn't give you any context. It doesn't explain why this has happened, which is what infographics are about. They should provide some context. They should allow you to go deeper into the information somehow. Let me be clear about something. I don't have anything against making infographics fun and colorful, but I do have something against sacrificing the core goals of our profession, such as clarity, depth, the integrity of the data, and good storytelling, just for the sake of bringing more eyeballs or making our graphics more prone to go viral. This is what the confusion between information graphics and pure art lead us to. Graphics such as the one on the screen right now that distort scales and proportions just to make the graphic flashier. The problem with this chart is, of course, that by adding an unnecessary third dimension, it makes comparisons much harder than they should be. You may ask yourself, is it possible to find then the right balance between pure beauty or, special effects and depth and clarity in the information? And I believe it is. Consider Moritz Stefaner's Better Life Index interactive visualization. He designed it for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and you can easily find it online on the web. The graphics in this presentation allow you to compare how all countries are doing in indicators such as education, governance, healthcare, and life satisfaction. When you get to the presentation, you will notice that the first thing that you will see are those beautiful and intriguing flowers. That's the first layer. That's the thing that, catches your eye. But after you start clicking on those flowers, you can start digging deeper into the data. You can see rankings, you can get the specifics of each country, you can compare them. So this presentation is not something that is just beautiful. It is beautiful, it is aesthetically pleasing, and it is very well designed, it's very visually attractive. But at the same time, it is also functional, and it is also informative. If you want to know more about Moritz, I would recommend you to go to the profile section in the functional art book. You will learn much more about his work. Or take the work of another of the professionals showcased in that profile section of the book, John Greenwade. John is graphics director at Condé Nast Traveler magazine, And this is one of his classic infographics. It explains the busy flow of commercial flights in the North Atlantic. Notice that the graphic is dense with information, but it doesn't feel cluttered. It is another good example of how to mix beauty with high-quality visual storytelling. See how well the information is organized here. Notice the solid structure of the graphic, the solid use of color and the use of type. John's graphics are usually visually pleasing, very visually pleasing, but beauty is not a goal on itself. Clarity is. In John's projects, graphic design is used to make a complex story easier to understand. As information graphics and visualization designers, we should not pursue beauty just for the sake of beauty, or impact just for the sake of impact. We should worry first about having good content and allowing readers to grasp and explore that content. In many cases, besides, beauty will be a byproduct of that good content and of depth. If you make a presentation that is clear, that is informative and visually elegant, it is likely that it will be beautiful. Edward Tufte, one of the leading theoreticians of information graphics, often brings up a quote by famous typographer Eric Gill. Gill said once that if you look after goodness and truth, beauty will take care of itself. And that is, arguably, the best summary of what information graphics and visualization should be about.